In October 2020, a single zoning vote triggered a wave of construction across Georgia's coast. Then, by 2023, satellite data revealed projects frozen mid-build. Official headlines said growth was inevitable, but between a $61 million funding surge and a 35% leap in foreclosures last December, something stopped the boom cold. So what evidence are top officials avoiding? And why does it matter for every homeowner who thinks their future is safe? LC 08-202-201-028. That is the Landsat 8 scene ID stamped on the first frame. October 28, 2020. Fresh earth scars the pine scrub near the Satilla River. Grid lines of new roads cut through the marsh. In this image, the beginnings of Harbor Oaks subdivision are unmistakable. Cleared lots, foundation pads, and a ribbon of construction trailers. Permit records from Camden County confirm the timing. Ground broke just weeks after the county's pivotal zoning meeting. Confirmed. Fast forward to LC 08-202-20703, acquired July 3, 2022. The satellite's broad sweep now reveals a transformation. Rooflines dot the landscape, but so do unfinished shells. Structures wrapped in Tyvek. Driveways poured, but garages still empty. The southern edge of the site, where blueprints promise dozens of homes, remains raw dirt. No new grading, no fresh lumber. The time-lapse catches the moment, when momentum falters. Permit logs show a sharp drop in approvals that summer, matching the visual evidence from orbit. By LC 08-2023-0912, dated September 12, 2023, the halt is undeniable. Grass and weeds reclaim the lots. Heavy machinery is gone. The satellite's sensor picks up sun-bleached siding and half-paved cul-de-sacs. Not a single new foundation has appeared in over a year. Scene 1D, date and mission designation stand as forensic proof. Construction did not just slow, it stopped. These three frames, each with their USGS scene identifiers, offer a visual baseline no press release can rewrite. The evidence is silent. It is absolute. On October 12, 2020, the Camden County Board of Commissioners gathered for a zoning meeting that would quietly set the stage for everything that followed. The official minutes filed with the county clerk document a vote to amend subdivision zoning along the Satilla River corridor, just miles from the planned Spaceport Camden site. The motion passed with 4 commissioners in favor and 1 opposed. The record lists each name, the roll call ticking down the line, and includes a single condition: expedited permit review for parcels meeting new density thresholds. No fanfare, just a line in the ledger. But this amendment unlocked a wave of building applications that flooded the planning office in the weeks that followed. The county's planning director described the moment as a necessary step to accommodate projected growth and new infrastructure demands. Permit logs confirmed the immediate impact. Over 70 new applications filed within a month, compared to a monthly average of 12 the previous year. The zoning minutes from October 12, 2020 now serve as the paper trail, linking local government action to the sudden spread of construction scars visible in satellite frames. This was not a state-level mandate or a market accident. It was a deliberate, locally authorized decision, quietly recorded, swiftly acted upon, and now preserved in the county's official record. The fiscal scrutiny that would come later begins here, with a single meeting and a handful of signatures that tipped the first domino. Numbers from the Georgia Association of Realtors and the multiple listing service strip away any doubt about the scale of change. In June 2021, the median sale price for a home in Metro Atlanta stood at $432,000. By June 2025, that same figure had dropped to $397,000, a decline of 9%. The trajectory isn't just a gentle correction, It's a visible reversal from the pandemic-era surge that drove prices higher month after month. Inventory tells a parallel story. At the market's peak, available homes hovered around 2.5 months of supply. By early 2025, that number had climbed to 4.3 months statewide, with some counties reporting even higher figures. The increase, about 1.8 months, represents a 72% jump in the number of homes on the market compared to the tightest days of the boom. This shift isn't theoretical. It's measured in thousands of unsold listings and in the growing gap between asking prices and what buyers are willing to pay. For realtors and lenders, these numbers aren't just statistics. They're warning lights flashing across every dashboard. The data from the Georgia Association of Realtors and the Multiple Listing Service doesn't just hint at a slowdown. It confirms that Georgia's housing market has entered a new phase, one that is forcing both homeowners and policymakers to reckon with realities that can't be spun away by optimistic press releases. Federal data began to reflect the severity of Georgia's housing reversal long before it made headlines. The Federal Housing Finance Agency's Home Price Index, a benchmark watched by economists and policymakers alike, charted a steady climb through mid-2021. But by late 2023, the numbers told a different story. Annualized growth, once robust, slipped into the red. In Atlanta, the Home Price Index showed a year-over-year decline of 2.1% by March 2024, while the statewide figure dipped 1.2%. These are not abstract percentages. They represent billions in lost home equity, and they triggered concern in places where optimism usually prevails. Inside the Atlanta branch of the Federal Reserve, staff economists track these indicators closely. On December 4th, 2023, an internal memo circulated under the header Georgia Housing Market Downturn Risk Assessment. The memo summarized mounting evidence, rising months of inventory, a sharp uptick in unsold listings, and a growing disconnect between official statements and market realities. One line attributed to Dr. John Robertson warned that inventories and foreclosure risk now outpace stabilizing factors, and that public messaging should reflect these shifts. The contrast was stark. While public statements from state officials continued to emphasize stability, the December memo flagged the need for urgent attention. Vacancy rates in Metro Atlanta, for instance, had jumped to levels not seen since the aftermath of the Great Recession. Federal Housing Finance Agency data, paired with the candid language of the Fed internal analysis, provided an unfiltered view of the storm gathering beneath the surface. For those with access to these documents, the warning lights were flashing, long before the rest of Georgia caught on. On March 31st, 2023, the state budget authorized $61.3 million for Spaceport Camden, an appropriation signed while housing relief funds stagnated and permit data already showed a slowdown. Just 2 weeks later, on July 15th, 2023, a memo from the Department of Community Affairs warned of rising inventory and growing risk, yet the language was cautious, not urgent. By August 15th, 2023, Governor Kemp's office issued a press release reassuring the public that Georgia's housing market remained stable, even as inventory levels approached 4 months of inventory in several counties. Another statement followed on January 19th, 2024, echoing the same optimism. The official record displays a timeline: funding for speculative infrastructure at the peak of distress, internal warnings muted in public, and press releases that sidestep the mounting evidence. The contradiction between what was known and what was said is written in dates, dollar amounts, and the headers of state memos. Teresa Alvarez's name appears on the Henry County docket. Foreclosure was filed on November 5th, 2023, and the eviction was finalized on February 14th, 2024. Her journey from legal notice to forced move lasted 101 days. Each step documented in county records, each delay a search for aid that never came. She is not alone. Adam's year-end snapshot shows foreclosure filings across Georgia, holding steady as 2023 closed, even as headlines warned of a coming wave. Yet, for families like Alvarez's, the process is relentless. The state's official response is now bound to a ticking clock, a deadline of December 31st, 2025 for housing relief applications. What remains unanswered is who will answer for the gap between public assurances and the realities stamped in court records. The questions are simple, but the silence is not. Today, Georgia's foreclosure rate sits 35% higher than last year. As policymakers debate solutions, thousands face uncertainty, while new developments stand subject. The next decision is not just about numbers. It is about homes, trust, and whose future gets built. In the end, silence has a cost.